Good morning, family, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's scripture reading. And this week we'll be reading from Exodus chapter 30, verse 11 through chapter 34, verse 35. 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 1 through 39, and 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 1 through 18. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, When thou takest the sum of the children of Yasharel after their number, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul unto Yahuwah, when thou numberest them, that there be no plague among them, when thou numberest them. This they shall give, every one that passeth among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half a shekel shall be the offering of Yahuwah. Every one that passeth among them that are numbered from 20 years old and above shall give an offering unto Yahuwah. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, when they give an offering unto Yahuwah to make an atonement for your souls. And thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Yasharel, and shall appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be a memorial unto the children of Yasharel before Yahuwah, to make an atonement for your souls. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not. Or when they come near to the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire unto Yahuwah, so they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not. And it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations. Moreover, Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Take thou also unto thee principal spices, of pure myrrh 500 shekels, and of sweet cinnamon half so much, even 250 shekels, and of sweet calamus 250 shekels, and of cassia 500 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, and of olive oil and hin. And thou shalt make it an oil of kadosh ointment, an ointment compound after the art of the apothecary. It shall be a kadosh anointing oil. And thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony, and the table and all his vessels, and the candlestick and his vessels, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering with all his vessels, and the laver and his foot. And thou shalt sanctify them, that they may be most kadosh. Whatsoever toucheth them shall be kadosh. And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons, and consecrate them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasharel, saying, This shall be an kadosh anointing oil unto me throughout your generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, neither shall you make any other like it. After the composition of it, it is kadosh, and it shall be kadosh unto you. Whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger, shall even be cut off from his people. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Take unto thee sweet spices, stacte, and onke, and galbanum, these sweet spices with pure frankincense, of each shall there be a like weight. And thou shalt make it a perfume, a confection, after the art of the apothecary, tempered together, pure and kadosh. And thou shalt beat some of it very small, and put of it before the testimony of the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will meet with thee. It shall be unto you most kadosh. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, ye shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof. It shall be unto thee kadosh for Yahuwah. Whosoever shall make like unto that, to smell thereto, shall even be cut off from his people. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, See, I have called thee Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Yehudah, and I have filled him with the Ruach of Elohim, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, to devise cunning works, to work in gold, and in silver, and in brass, and in cutting of stones, to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship. And I, behold, I have given him Aholiab, the son of Ahishamach, of the tribe of Dan, and in the hearts of all that are wise-hearted I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded thee. The tabernacle of the congregation, and the ark of the testimony, and the mercy seat that is thereupon, and all the furniture of the tabernacle, and the table and his furniture, and the pure candlestick with all his furniture, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering with all his furniture, and the laver and his foot, and the cloths of service, and the kadosh garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his sons to minister in the priest's office, and the anointing oil, and sweet incense for the kadosh place, according to all that I have commanded thee shall they do. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Yasharel, saying, Verily my Shabbats ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahuwah that doth sanctify you. You shall keep the Shabbat therefore, for it is kadosh unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Shabbat of rest, kadosh to Yahuwah. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Yasharel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Shabbat throughout your generations, for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Yasharel forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Elohim. And when the people saw that Moshe delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moshe, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron, and he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Yasharel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation, and said, Tomorrow is a feast to Yahuwah. And they rose up early on the morrow, and offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Go, get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Yasharel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. And Moshe besought Yahuwah his Elohim, and said, Adonai, why doth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, For mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Yasharel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and saidst unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And Yahuwah repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. And Moshe turned and went down from the mount. And Moshe turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hands. The tables were written in both of their sides, on the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of Elohim, graven upon the tables. And when Yahushua heard the noise of the camp as they shouted, he said unto Moshe, There is a noise of war in the camp. And he said, It is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moshe's anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands, and brake them beneath the mount. And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Yasharel drink of it. And Moshe said unto Aaron, What did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, Let not the anger of my Adon wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. For they said unto me, Make us gods, which shall go before us. As for this Moshe, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And I said unto them, Whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf. And when Moshe saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies, then Moshe stood in the gate of the camp and said, Who is on Yahuwah's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel, Put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from the gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moshe. And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. For Moshe had said, Consecrate yourselves today to Yahuwah, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moshe said unto the people, You have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto Yahuwah. Peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moshe returned unto Yahuwah and said, O this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. Therefore now go, lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I will visit their sin upon them. And Yahuwah plagued the people, because they made the calf which Aaron made. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Depart, and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto thy seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, and the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For Yahuwah had said unto Moshe, Say unto the children of Yisrael, Ye are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee. And the children of Yisrael stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Oreb. And Moshe took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that every one which sought Yahuwah went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. And it came to pass, when Moshe went out unto the tabernacle, that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door, and looked after Moshe until he was gone into the tabernacle. And it came to pass, as Moshe entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended, and stood at the door of the tabernacle. And Yahuwah talked with Moshe. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door. And all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. And he turned again into the camp. But his servant Yahusha, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. And Moshe said unto Yahuwah, See, thou sayest unto me, Bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. Now therefore, I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people. And he said, My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. And he said, I beseech thee, show me thy kavod. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of Yahuwah before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. And Yahuwah said, Behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my kavod passeth by, that I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor herds feed before that mount. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and Moshe rose up early in the morning, and went up unto Mount Sinai, as Yahuwah had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tables of stone. And Yahuwah descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed by before him, and proclaimed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the 3rd and to the 4th generation. And Moshe made haste, and bowed his head toward the earth, and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found grace in thy sight, O Yahuwah, let my Adonai, I pray thee, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, Behold, I make a covenant. Before all thy people I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of Yahuwah, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God, for Yahuwah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous Elohim. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods. And one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods. The feast of unleavened bread shalt thou keep 7 days. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee, in the time of the month of Abib, for in the month of Abib thou camest out from Egypt. All that openeth the matrix is mine, and every firstling among the cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. But the firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou redeem him not, then thou shalt break his neck. All the firstborn of thy sons thou shalt redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days thou shalt work, but in the 7th day thou shalt rest. In earing time and in harvest thou shalt rest, and thou shalt observe the feast of weeks, of the firstfruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. Thrice in the year shall all your men children appear before Yahuwah Elohim, the Elohim of Yasharel. For I will cast out the nations before thee, and enlarge thy borders, neither shall any man desire thy land, when thou shalt go up to appear before Yahuwah thy Elohim thrice in the year. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left unto the morning. The first of the firstfruits of thy land thou shalt bring unto the house of Yahuwah thy Elohim. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Yasharel. And he was there with Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. And it came to pass, when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of the testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moshe wist not, but the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aaron and all the children of Yasharel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moshe called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moshe talked with them. And afterward all the children of Yasharel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all that Yahuwah had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. Until Moshe had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moshe went in before Yahuwah to speak with him, he took the veil off, until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Yasharel that which he was commanded. And the children of Yasharel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe put the veil upon his face again, until he went in to speak with him. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 1. And it came to pass after many days that the word of Yahuwah came to Eliyahu in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Eliyahu went to show himself to Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared Yahuwah greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of Yahuwah, that Obadiah took 100 prophets, and hid them by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, Go into the land, unto all fountains of water, and unto all brooks. Peradventure we may find grass, to save the horses and mules alive, that we lose not all the beasts. So they divided the land between them to pass throughout it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Eliyahu met him. And he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Art thou that my Adon Eliyahu? And he answered him, I am. Go, tell thy Adon, behold, Eliyahu is here. And he said, What have I sinned, that thou wouldest deliver thy servant into the hand of Ahab to slay me? As Yahuwah thy Elohim liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whither my Adon hath not sent to seek thee. And when they said, He is not here, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation, that they found thee not. And now thou sayest, Go, tell thy Adon, behold, Eliyahu is here. And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am gone from thee, that the Ruach of Yahuwah shall carry thee whither I know not. And so when I come to tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he shall slay me. But I, thy servant, fear Yahuwah from my youth. Was it not told, my Adon, what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of Yahuwah, how I hid 100 men of Yahuwah's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now thou sayest, Go, tell thy Adon, behold, Eliyahu is here, and he shall slay me. And Eliyahu said, As Yahuwah Sabaoth liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab, and told him. And Ahab went to meet Eliyahu. And it came to pass, when Ahab saw Eliyahu, that Ahab said unto him, Art thou he that troubleth Yasharel? And he answered, I have not troubled Yasharel, but thou and thy father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commandments of Yahuwah, and thou hast followed Baalim. Now therefore send, and gather to me all Yasharel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the grove 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Yasharel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Eliyahu came unto all the people, and said, How long halt ye between two opinions? If Yahuwah be Elohim, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Eliyahu unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of Yahuwah, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under, and I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call upon the name of Yahuwah. And the Elohim that answereth with fire, let him be Elohim. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Eliyahu said unto the prophets of Baal, Choose you 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. And they took the bullocks which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even unto noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Eliyahu mocked them, and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure he sleepeth, and must be awakened. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets, till the blood gushed out of them. And it came to pass, when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Eliyahu said unto all the people, Come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of Yahuwah that was broken down. And Eliyahu took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Yaakov, unto whom the word of Yahuwah came, saying, Yasharel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahuwah, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, Fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, Do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, Do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Eliyahu the prophet came near and said, Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Yasharel, let it be known this day that thou art Elohim in Yasharel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Yahuwah, hear me, that this people may know that thou art Yahuwah Elohim, and that thou hast turned their heart back again. Then the fire of Yahuwah fell, and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahuwah, he is the Elohim. Yahuwah, he is the Elohim. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1. Do we begin again to commend ourselves, or need we, as some others, epistles of commendation to you, or letters of commendation from you? Ye are our epistle, written in our hearts, known and read of all men. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Mashiach, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Ruach of the living Elohim, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart. And such trust have we through Mashiach to Elohimward. Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of Elohim. who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Ruach. For the letter killeth, but the Ruach giveth life. But if the ministration of death, written and engraved in stones, was glorious, so that the children of Yasharel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moshe for the kavod of his countenance, which kavod was to be done away, how shall not the ministration of the Ruach be rather glorious? For if the ministration of condemnation be kavod, much more doth the ministration of righteousness exceed in kavod. For even that which was made glorious had no kavod in this respect, by reason of the kavod that excelleth. For if that which is done away was glorious, much more that which remaineth is glorious. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moshe, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Yasharel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished, but their minds were blinded. For until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Mashiach. But even unto this day, when Moshe is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to Yahuwah, the veil shall be taken away. Now Yahuwah is that Ruach, and where the Ruach of Yahuwah is, there is liberty. But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the kavod of Yahuwah, are changed into the same image from kavod to kavod, even as by the Ruach of Yahuwah. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.